Hello everyone, my name is David Fotu and welcome to Country Coding. Now today we are going to do some string literals, and what those are is that they basically work with strings. Like many other popular programming languages, strings in Python are arrays of bytes representing Unicode characters. However, Python does not have a character data type, and a single character is simply a string with a length of 1. Square brackets can be used to access elements of the string. So the first one that we're going to learn about is position. So let's say that we have a variable and we set hello to that variable as shown here. Okay, I'll wait for you guys to do that. Okay, let's print it out. Now I'm going to put a comment here. Okay, so when we want to find a position of a character within a string, we can state the variable and then you have those square brackets, the opening and closing square brackets. And then all you have to do is just put in the number of where that variable is located. Now, in Python, like many other object-oriented languages, each character starts with 0. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can't just put in 1 and expect to pull up the first letter. You have to put in 0 to pull up the first letter, if that makes sense. So for example, hello is 0. Okay, first position is 0. Second position is 1.
Can you do this somewhere else? We're going to watch a movie.
Third position is 2.
Where are we going to go? We have nowhere to go.
3. And yes, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's try it out here.
Or do you want to position consistent example? Or it's going to take 2 hours to watch.
Okay, let's see what happens here.
2 hours to watching.
So we have index on desktop, and let's pull up our terminal or PowerShell.
So
Let's look at properties here really quick.
I'm watching Netflix. And then see what
And let's pull up Python here. And look what result we got. We got E. So, as I told you before, each character starts with 0. If most of you expected to have H, that's totally wrong because that's not how it works. So that's just to find the position of a character within a string, right? Let's go on to the next example here. So let's say that we want to find 2 characters, or actually a range of characters. Okay, let's use hello again. Actually, let's do this. Let's use world. And let's print it out here. So remember, we state the variable, and then we have the square brackets. Now it's range. So with range, let's choose 2 positions here. Let's choose 2 and 5. So 2:5, right? And let's save the file here and run it on a terminal. So if you guys want to understand the shortcuts on copying things from terminal, just do Control-Shift-C, and then do Control-Shift-V to copy, and voila. This is what we get, RLD. The reason why I'm teaching you guys these is that this is very helpful when we're working with loops. So loops, what they do is that they go into a list or directory or even database, and they check all the information that we have in there. And sometimes you might have some discrepancies in the data that you need to fix. And so ranges will help with that. Things like this will actually help figure those problems out and be able to fix them. And we'll get into that later on when we are working with SQL. SQL is an awesome tool. It's one of those database languages that are very popular and very easy to learn. It's a very popular language. Except I'm beginning to, tell you the truth, I'm beginning to like NoSQL languages better, like MongoDB. But anyways, let's go into the next exercise here. So let's say that we want to remove some white space within a string.
What do you have left on?
So, you know how there's here's a string that has some white space in it. We can use a method called strip that will return, that will eliminate that white space from the beginning to the end of the string. So let's print that out here real quick. Again, this is very useful when you're trying to correct the data that you have inside a data set or a database or a list or a dictionary. Okay?
Then we'll probably end up being.
Save that here real quick. And let's run it. And look at that. It did for us. So strip, again, removes the white space from the beginning to the end. So remember that. That might be very important for you when you're working with different applications.
Get some stuff, we're on them.
Now, another one that's super important to learn, and I've seen this a lot being used, is the length method. So length method returns how many, what's the length of the string. So how many characters are within the string. So let's say, for example, I put in, let's call a character variable out here.
I want to eat one of your rocks, but I can't right now.
And let's print out the length here really quick.
Wow. Now sitting here in my Let's count them.
Let's save it.
You have to move them after you.
Okay, let's run it now.
One, and then grab another one. 2, 3. You count.
So there's 9 characters within that string.
Everything, baby, everything.
So let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 characters within that string, right? I like to use this. This one is mostly used when you're dealing with, again, when you're dealing with data. Let's say that you just want to create a loop that deals with the number of characters within the string, right? So that's very helpful.
You can have mine.
Okay, Now, the next one
It's 17.
Wait, did we?
is the lower method.
What's that?
Right?
You
18.
wanna give us your?
So let's say we want
I
to
never use it.
Registry.
lowercase this whole string right here. So change it a bit here.
22,
Guys, make me happy.
24, 25, 26,
Okay, let's save it
27,
and let's run it again.
28, 29,
Look at that. It lowercases the whole,
31,
all the characters for us.
32, 33,
Oh, those are good. Those are good.
Okay, now to the next exercise.
36. What if I take away 3?
Let's uppercase
Okay,
all
if I
the
just
characters
take
that we
away
have here,
one.
right?
There's 36. If I take away 1 and put it in here, how many are there? What happens before 36?
So as you can see, all we have to do is just type in dot
What is
upper
before 36?
parentheses,
35.
and this is what we get.
1, 2, no. Hey, count them.
Oh,
How many?
that was not a good example.
We need like the same as
How many? No, what is the number?
Okay, let's try it again.
Okay, how many?
There you go.
And if I take away 1, how many?
Okay, let's say that we want to replace something within a
What's the
string.
number? And if I add 1, how many? And if I add another? Give it back.
Okay, let's say we want to replace, sorry, I just had to rub my nose here. Let's say that we wanted to replace a character within the
No,
string.
how many? If I add 1, how many?
So all we have to do is
Now how many?
State the
Add
variable
2,
here.
how many?
dot and type in the
No,
method, which is
add
replace.
2, 2.
Now,
2 equals 1, 2, 3, 4.
as you can see here, we put double quotation marks,
Those are cookie cans.
These ones are blue.
comma, double quotation marks. And let's replace the character H
Orange, dark orange.
with J.
Light orange. That one's dark orange.
Yes.
Let's save it and let's run it.
It's $119.
And as you can see, Python recognizes that and replaces the H with a J.
What's a pink one?
That's the most bougiest freaking waffle maker I've ever seen in my life.
Where's the pink ones? Yeah, that's pink. Pink. Starts with P-I-N-K.
1 second, guys.
Pink. One, two, three, four, five.
Okay.
You count. 1, 2.
So the next one that we're going to be dealing with is called split.
Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And what I like about split is that the fact that you can
12. Well, because you counted 1 twice.
use it to split strings up.
Actually, yeah, they got.
So let's do that here really quick. So we state the variable,
We're gonna make cleaner, too.
we type in split,
Alright, where are we at?
in this case, we're going to try hello world to demonstrate how smart, this is how powerful the language is, by the way. It can recognize where to split this up, to split these two strings up.
These are all,
Okay, now we're going to save it.
these are all shells.
I'm gonna run
Where's the
it.
Starfish, where's the starfish? Hey, these are very colored. These ones are darker than those ones. These are light.
And as you can see, Python splits those two strings up for us.
Okay, a microwave? Is there a microwave in the new house?
Color.
In the old house?
We'll see what they take.
So I'll let you guys process that for a bit. Now, there is,
What video?
back in the olden times, when Python was a lot more interesting than it was now, we used to have raw input.
What do you want?
Actually, there's something in your nose.
You're gonna wake up from the,
Give me it, this.
you told me to take it.
And this is what we call command line string input. So this allows you to actually put in,
Okay, I want you to put only 10.
this allows you to actually put in information. The user can put in information for the string itself.
I want to.
So let's say we have A equals input.
You're right.
So back in the days when we were using Python 2, we would put in raw input.
2, 3.
But with Python 3, you just have to put in input. Type in a string here.
You want to play? Okay, put 10 in here.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Put 10 in here.
And
You gotta put 10 in.
print it out like this.
Two.
This is one.
Oh, you put 2
Let's save it.
there. You count then, you count.
And run the code.
Inside here.
5, 6,
3, 1.
3, 4.
Okay, you're putting 10 in there.
Actually,
If it's not 10, then you're gonna go on
Francis.
Coco. If it is 10,
okay, let's clear it out here.
start over.
I'll show you. So,
Okay, now.
as you can see, command line string
You're
input.
gonna go watch Coco.
It asks us what is my name. I'm going to type in Francis. And voila,
Count, put 10 in
it pulls
here.
up Francis for us. So Python allows us to,
5, 6.
with other object-oriented languages, the problem is, of course, you would have to indicate that that's the end of the code. Or, for example, if it was C#, sometimes you would, I mean, C# is pretty easy,
Got it right.
but with Python,
This time, put in.
it becomes, with each new version, it becomes a lot more powerful. So you really don't need to do any special characters
No,
with the
start
input.
over at 1. You need to put in 14.
And that's why I like
You gotta
Python.
start from the beginning. Go.
Very simple. Very simple indeed. Okay, let's play around with some of this stuff. Let's do some practices.
You put 2 in there though. 8, 9, right?
Okay, so far what we learned from Python is syntaxes,
Is that
variables,
14?
numbers, and casting, and
if you're wrong,
strings.
you're gonna go watch Coco.
That's a great thing.
6, 8.
Now, if you've been following the videos, which I hope most of you have,
14, 15.
So like,
you might understand,
Wrong, so we're gonna watch.
you might be ready to do some practices,
Wanna try again?
and I hope that you go to W3 schools and read up on some of these,
2.
read up on some of the practices that they have to offer here.
That was 4.
In fact, if you guys want, I can actually upload some practices for you so that you can do it on your own time. But these are very simple concepts here,
Are you gonna do it right?
so you won't have any problems with them.
14.
And
Go.
that should be the end of it.